He's a lion with a Bible and a constitutional plan, with a voice like thunder and a heart full of grace. He's calling out the lies right to their face. He's got a pope's name, but a prophet's fire. He's pulling back curtains, lifting folks higher from rumble to the pews. He won't back down. There's a holy kind of boldness in his small town crown. He's Professor Toto, truth on the go, with a wink and a word. He's stealing the show like that little dog in the land of Oz. He's shouting out truth and he's giving God the applause. He's exposing the smoke, breaking the spell, ringing that liberty bell. So shout it from the steeple, shout it to the town. Professor Toto's gonna turn it all around. He's got a red, white, and blue burning deep in his bones, preaching kingdom and country from his humble home. He don't need a spotlight, don't need a stage, just YouTube Live and a righteous rage. With a Bible in hand and a founder's dream, he's waking up the church, raising up a team. He ain't fooled by glitter, he ain't sold on the spin. He's calling out wolves in sheepish skin. He's Professor Toto, truth on the go, with a wink and a word. He's stealing the show like that little dog in the land of Oz. He's shouting out truth and he's giving God the applause. He's exposing the smoke, breaking the spell, ringing that liberty bell. So shout it from the steeple, shout it to the town. Professor Toto's gonna turn it all around. Now the world may mock and the news may spin, but Toto don't flinch, he knows who wins. With a kingdom compass and a patriot soul, he's marching in truth till the trumpet rolls. Oh, Professor Toto, keep walking bold, the word in your heart and the fire in your soul. You're lifting the veil, calling truth by name, shining heaven's light on the devil's game. You're exposing the smoke, breaking the spell, ringing that liberty bell. We're shouting hallelujah as the lies fall down. Professor Toto's turning it around. Yeah, Professor Toto, keep pulling that curtain down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand to your feet and greet my good friend, Professor Toto.
Signing a wide range of executive orders, ranging from rescinding any DEI or gender-related directives from the Biden administration to designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so.
Returned to America. You're fighting the fight of the Lord's battle. You will win. You will overcome. You will not be ashamed. You will not be destroyed. God will turn this nation back around.
America! How are you? Good evening and welcome to the Conservative College on a Tuesday night, August the 26th, in the year of our Lord 2025. Wherever I am reaching you tonight, you are blessed.
because the voice of truth is so rare in today's world. And I'm so thankful that you have ears that love truth, because tonight you're going to get an earful of it. Go ahead and grab your bean bags, pop a squat, plop down, say hello to your fellow patriots. Class is about to start tonight. I don't have a bell, so we'll just have to imagine that we're ringing one tonight. But class is about to start in about 5 minutes. Before we start class, we always have to pay our tuition. And that is paid with a like button or a love button or a share button. And if you're filled with love tonight, you can do all three. Or if you're just a user loser, don't do any of it. Just sit there and be a taker. It's your choice. But nevertheless, I'm glad to have you tonight. Well, here's the deal. There is so much good stuff happening that I just can't keep up with it no more. I totally give up. I cannot keep up with all the winning that is happening in the great nation of America. To every one of you, I pray you had a wonderful day. It's fixing to get much better, because you're about to hear tomorrow's news today. You're going to go behind the headlines and find the truth lines. You're not just going to get the story, but the best of the story. Welcome. If this is your first time, I am your humble neighborhood fluffy professor, Toto. Just like that little dog Toto on the Great Wizard of Oz. I also love to pull that curtain back on all those liberal lies. Before we start jerking the curtain back tonight, I want to give you a quick update. Very quick. All right, this Saturday, yours truly will be speaking at Middlebury, Indiana. That's over in Amish country, I believe. I will be joining our great elder of that region, Elder Vicky Baker, in Indiana at the Essen House Inn in Middlebury, Indiana. I would love for you to meet me. I'll begin speaking at 12:15 on Saturday. Would you come and let's have lunch together? Right after the service, we're going to be eating at the Blue Gate restaurant. I want to meet you this Saturday, August 30th, in Middlebury, Indiana. If you live within 2 or 3 hours, it's almost a given that you would make the short drive in that beautiful country and come and meet me, Elder Baker, and all the wonderful saints of our church that live in that area. So Middlebury, Indiana, I'm on my way. I'll be getting on an airplane in a day or two, headed out there to that beautiful part of the country. Also, before we start class tonight, it's coming quickly. 35 days from today, that great event, there's nothing like it anywhere, at beautiful Lake Gunnersville, Alabama, where we go every year in the early part of October. This year, September 30th through October the 4th is our main event at the Feast of Tabernacles 2025. You do not want to miss these glorious days We would love to meet you there. All right. Okay. We got some news to talk about.
And I've been taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. I've been taking care of business. It's all mine.
Well, we're gonna start right there at Cracker Barrel. Oh man. Have you heard the news? Did you hear the news moments ago? They have caved. We win. We won. They're bringing Uncle Herschel back. And the new logo got to go. They have succumbed to the pressure of their customers. And the new logo is gone. Now, Cracker Barrel, we also want our brown walls back. And we want all of the junk hanging on the walls. That's exactly what we want now. And so we won. We won. Do you know why? Because we're done giving up our nation. We did that for 8, 9, 12 years. We gave up our nation, and we're done with that. That's done. We let you know that we found our voice. His name was Donald Trump. We found our voice, and now you have heard our voice. You know, let me tell you how you change a nation, how you change a situation. If you're not careful, you'll begin to think that we, the common sense people, are in the minority. But nothing could be further from the truth. We are the majority in this nation. The problem is we're a lazy, or have been, a lazy majority. And the other problem is this. The very word conservative means that we're not out there being loud. That's the total opposite of what the word conservative means. A conservative tries to preserve things. We try to maintain what works and what does the job. A conservative's nature is not to be out there screaming in people's faces and acting like liberals. That you see, it's two different mindsets. But the good news tonight is that in order to change a nation or a situation, you don't have to be loud. You don't have to act like liberals at all. The Negro population of the United States of America, way back yonder, the black population. I say Negro because that's what at that time they were known as. The black population in the early 1900s, they learned a secret. It took them a long time to learn it. Dr. King had to teach it to them. And they learned the secret to changing their circumstances. No, it wasn't marching. It wasn't the sit-ins. It wasn't loud. There was none of that. It was none of that that brought them their freedom. It was one thing that everybody's got in their pocket. It was a dollar bill. Oh, that's what it was. The Montgomery bus boycott, 1955. The black population got together and decided they were going to keep their money in the hood, the neighborhood. That's right. They had decided that if their black skin wasn't good enough to go in someone's store, then neither was their green dollars. So the black man got very smart, and they realized the secret to change was not in marching down the street or blocking a bridge. No, that just breeds resentment with the rest of the population. That's not what did it. The Montgomery bus boycott, they held their money. And then what happened to the Montgomery bus system? It went kaplunk without black people riding the bus. And then the city ran out of money to operate the buses because black folks withheld their money. Have you ever heard of Black Wall Street? It existed until 1921, and it was literally black money in their own Wall Street. Their theme was no justice, no profit. No justice, no profit. And it was the loudness of their quietness that won them their freedom. Because they learned what conservatives, I pray to God, is starting to learn. If you want to make a difference with Cracker Barrel, you don't go there. That's right. You go to Waffle House. Okay? And they heard us, and not one of us went and stood in front of the door and painted our hair pink. Not one of us went and stripped naked in front of the store. No, not one of us. We just got loud real quietly. And that's the secret to change. And that's why for years I've begged you to do that with Walmart. I created a whole website called byebyewalmart.com. People have come there by the thousands to leave Walmart as much as possible and divert their money to patriot-owned businesses. But now we have another problem, Cracker Barrel. You've put your cards on the table. And you've shown us what lurks behind the facade. We've come to find out, now, I've not verified this, so I'm remiss to report it, but rumor has it. I'm still waiting for verification. I don't trust memes as news sources. But rumor on the street is that BlackRock and Vanguard are part owners of Cracker Barrel. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, okay? But here's what I do know. Something at Cracker Barrel allowed this change. And it wasn't Sister Podunk that got on there. That she's not the one that did this. So, Cracker Barrel, here's the word tonight from Professor Toto. We're still not bringing you our money. No. We want to negotiate. We want to know where our money's going. Okay? So starting now, if I find out, and I pray I'm wrong, I tell you what, give me 1 second. Let's find out. Don't take long to find out. Let's go over here and say, let's see. Let's see what the Web has to say about Cracker Barrel. Okay, BlackRock is a significant shareholder. It's owned by 114.52% institutional shareholders. The largest shareholder is Sardar Biglari with over 3 million shares. BlackRock is among the largest institutional shareholders. So let's find out who Sardar Biglari is. He's the largest investor. Sardar is Iranian American. So much for Uncle Herschel, who was a controversial corporate raider in the restaurant industry. His father was a general in the Imperial Iranian Army. He bought Steak and Shake, Cracker Barrel. It says that his relationship with Cracker Barrel has been contentious after 7 unsuccessful attempts to take control of the company. Biglari, I tell you what, I think I'm done with Cracker Barrel. Yeah, I'm done with Cracker Barrel because Cracker Barrel is done with Bubba and his biscuits. If you have not read my blog on Cracker Barrel and why they made the decision that they made, you need to go read it. You can find my blog at Substack. Look for Professor Toto or scan the QR code. It is free. Now, look, I've got several people telling me when they go to subscribe, it's asking for $80 a year. That is totally optional. You can click no thank you and get right in. You don't have to pay a dime, okay? Now, I do have many paid subscribers that support my work, and I thank you all. But you see, Sardar really does not like that plate of food right there. Only Bubba and the rest of us like that plate of food, okay? They think that our kind should be eliminated. The truth is, Cracker Barrel hates their customer base. Too masculine, too macho, too white, too conservative. So I think I'm going to let old Cracker Barrel go. I know how to get to Waffle House. Be a good time for a conservative to open up a competitor because man. But anyway, they've caved. And the reason they've caved is because of numbers like this.
Look, the Democratic brand right now has about the appeal with the American voter as the Cracker Barrel rebrand has with the American consumers. Bad. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness gracious. What are we talking about here in terms of big party registration changes in the key swing states? Let's look at the key 4 swing states that, in fact, do keep track of registration by party. Look, the Republican Party is in their best position at this point in the cycle since at least 2005. The bottom line is this, Jessica Dean. When it comes to party registration, Republicans have made massive gains compared to 8 years ago. They are in their best position in these key 4 swing states dating back at least 20 years. You have to go back at least 20 years, at least in the case of Nevada, longer in North Carolina and Pennsylvania. So Republicans looking pretty gosh darn good, at least when it comes to party registration. And we'll see what happens down the road. But at this point, as I said at the beginning, the Democratic brand is in about as good a position as the Cracker Barrel rebrand. It is bad, bad, bad for the Democrats.
It's all bad for them, and it's all good for us. Now, I want to take you real quickly, my fellow Americans, to that land that we all love, the land of Oz.
What's happening?
That's what I always ask in the land of Oz. What's happening? Especially when I read something like this from Steve Bannon. He said Israel started a war that it had no ability to finish. And I feel like I'm in the land of Oz when I read that. I'm trying to remember what war Israel started. I know we're in the land of Oz, but still, surely there's some reality. How can you make a statement that Israel started a war? Israel was minding their business on October the 7th when their sacred sovereignty was eviscerated in broad daylight. They started a war that Israel was more than happy to finish. So it's stuff like that in the land of Oz that makes me wonder what planet people are living on. It's amazing. And look, for example, now we're hearing all over the news about lawfare and how it's not fair. How President Trump is engaging in lawfare. And that's when I want to scream, not today, Satan. Spare me. Please spare me, because my memory is good. My memory is very, very good. And if you want to see what lawfare looks like, I invite you to the chalkboard. I invite you to see what lawfare looks like. Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, General Flynn, Peter Navarro, Walt Nauta, Carlos de Oliveira, Tom Barrack, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, John Eastman, Jenna Ellis, Michael Roman, Kenneth Chesbro, Jeffrey Clark, Sidney Powell, Robert Cheeley, David Schaefer, Sean Steele, Stephen Cliffgard Lee, Harrison William Prescott Floyd, Trevian Cootie, Scott Hall, Misty Hampton, Kathleen Latham, Ray Smith, Boris Epstein, Christina Bobb, Kelly Ward, Tyler Bauer, Nancy Cottle, Jacob Hoffman, Anthony Kern, James Lamont, Robert Montgomery, Samuel Moorhead, Lorraine Pellegrino, Gregory Safston, Michael Ward, Alan Weiselberg. And you want to talk to me about lawfare? No, that won't even work in the land of Oz, ladies and gentlemen. So the next time you hear that, remember what you just saw, because we're living in a time where nothing is as it seems, evidently. Now, I want to help you tonight understand something that's confusing a lot of people. Now, if you're a subscriber to my blog, you already have this pertinent information. I'm going to only touch on this for about 3 minutes. gerrymandering. Okay? Let me tell you what's happening in California, and now Florida is jumping into the mix. Have no fear. We are going to win the gerrymandering. It's not gerrymandering. It's gerrymandering. We're going to win that war. The reason being, the Republican states that are in play in the midterms have a trifecta: a governor, a House, and a Senate. Sign off, sign off, sign off, check, done. These liberal states are so hoity-toity, like California, that they can't do it the constitutional way because they created non-constitutional committees. They have to wait for voter approval. So we're going to win the for those that don't understand gerrymandering, let me try to make it simple for you. You are the coach of a basketball team, okay? And you're stuck with some players that are not very good. You got stuck with the bad team. No problem. You don't need a good team. No. What you do is you go out there on the basketball court, you take a piece of chalk, and you move the 3-point line closer to the best shooter you have. That's all you got to do. Even if that shooter's horrible, he just became good. All you do is move the line, okay? And then you shrink the area where your opponent's tall center is most effective. You shrink their area so they can't do as much and get as much play time in. And voila, that's gerrymandering, okay? That's exactly what it is. And let me show you where it all started just so you understand. The image on your screen is an image of a section of Massachusetts. Governor Elbridge Gerry signed off on this redistricting of his state. And when they saw it, someone said it looks like a salamander. And boom, gerrymandering was born. So Texas did what they should have done, trying to make things more fair, trying to make things more honest. And then California got into the sway, but now Florida is coming along, and we will win. Let me tell you the problem. It's not gerrymandering. The problem Donald Trump is fixing. It's the United States Census, okay? Now, the census is the ultimate head count. And let me tell you the way census workers count. They go to a house, they knock on a door, every house in America, every door. And if your aunt is there visiting from Canada or an exchange student from Germany, and people that have no legal documentation, they're counted in the census count. There is no checking of ID as far as validation of whether you're a citizen or not. Every person gets counted. What does that mean? 55 million people in the United States are here on visas. They're not citizens. This don't count the illegals that don't answer the door. This is people just here on visas, 55 million. That is 15% of the census. Representatives are appointed to the House of Representatives based on that count. That is what's wrong with the seats in our House.
All we're doing, frankly, is trying to make the situation a little bit more fair on a national scale. The Democrats have gerrymandered their states really aggressively. We think there are opportunities to push back against that, and that's really all we're doing.
And yet, Mr. Vice President, you were able to win the House and the Senate in 2024. Why can't you do it again without adding additional
But we had
seats?
but this is a very important question, Kristen. We had way fewer House seats than we should have. One, if the Democrats hadn't aggressively gerrymandered, and two, if illegal aliens weren't counted in the census for purposes of apportioning congressional seats. The best estimates I've seen is that in California, for example, has 5 additional congressional seats than it should have because they count illegal aliens for the purpose of apportioning representatives. Meanwhile, Ohio, my home state, lost a representative. We're literally losing representatives for American citizens in order to give congressional representation to illegal aliens. Republicans are trying to balance out the scales a little bit for basic fairness and for the integrity of our democracy, which the president cares about as much as anybody in the country.
Tonight, I want to talk to you about the inexhaustible president. Now, I'm not going to be with you long tonight as I normally am, because in my home, where the great Professor Toto show emanates from, across the fruited plains, our great air conditioning unit has gone out. Hallelujah. And so I'm sitting here, me and my little fan, trying to survive this show tonight in the South with 90-degree weather outside. So I'm chugging right along because I am faithful to the mic of magnanimity. Oh, I am the faithful watchman of we the people, the mayor of Toto Town, the sheriff of sanity. I must be at my post of duty, heat or cold, rain or shine, sweat or snot. It doesn't matter. I must be at the mic of magnanimity. Tonight, I want to talk to you about our great president. Before I do, I want to explain something to you. The whole world is watching Donald Trump. This is the man that the world cannot stop watching. The critics, they cannot stop hating him. And the supporters, we can't stop cheering every day. We've never seen anything like this. At the speed of action from this man is unexplainable. Unless, like me, you can explain it. And I can. I call him the inexhaustible president. But before we dive into the daily whirlwind of executive orders, I'm fixing to go through all of them, and the diplomatic breakthroughs, I want you to understand something very fundamental tonight. Before I can explain to you where Donald Trump is getting this strength from, I must first explain to you 2 words. One word is chronos. The other word is kairos. Chronos
Kairos. You say, Professor Toto, that sounds Greek. That's exactly what it is. It is the Greek language, and it is the two words in Greek that's translated into English as the word time. T-I-M-E. If you don't understand the difference in chronos time and kairos time, you cannot understand Donald Trump and the speed, the unheard of speed that he's moving at, okay? Chronos time is exactly what it sounds like. Chronological. Measured time. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, years, marching right along, linear in nature. It's what your wristwatch goes by, past, present, future. It's moving in a predictable order. That's called chronos time. We have watched that all the way up until Barack Obama. Until Barack Obama, one president came and then he left. The next president came, time marched on, nothing. It was just what it was. It was the chronos movement of government, the chronological moving of time. It just made sense. Nothing was sporadic or erratic. The most erratic thing we've had happen in the presidency would have been the assassination of John F. Kennedy. After everything else, just chronologically moving right along. All right. Thank you for serving, Mr. President. Next. Chronos time is Earth time. Okay. But Kairos time is totally different. Kairos time is divine time. It's an appointed time. It's time that overtakes time. It's God's perfect timing. It's when heaven breaks into the earth and everything changes in one instant. It is literally time overtaking time. Perfect example. In 2020, my life as a minister, chronological time. I was 45 years old. Chronological time went on and on and on and on, year in, year out. And suddenly on November the 8th in 2020, Kairos time interjected into my life. It is called the suddenlies of God. The now. It literally explodes the clock. It literally interjects into the normative the abnormative. And everything happens so quickly. For example, in my life, subscribers on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, chronologically, you get 3 or 4 more every few days. But in that one day, 100,000, 75,000, 45,000 on Facebook, in one day, entire life changed. And as a result of that, we now have an international church. We've been able to do more from that one now moment of time than I did my whole 40 years of ministry. In that one moment, that's called Kairos time. It's supernatural. I was everywhere, suddenly on airplanes, speaking at Republican rallies, speaking at everywhere, going out suddenly. And everybody asked me the same thing. How are you doing it? Suddenly, I was writing more books in a month than most people write in a lifetime because of Kairos, or supernatural time. And what the critics do not understand about Donald Trump He is no longer operating in Chronos time. Donald Trump is operating in a Kairos moment for America. It is literally now or never. Now is the time. The Bible said now is the appointed time. Now is the Kairos moment for America. We will never, ever, ever get this moment, probably ever again, to turn right everything that Obama made wrong. Okay? Donald Trump has 1,303 days left to change, rescue, and salvage the greatest nation that's ever existed. 1,303 days. And if he doesn't win the midterms, he has less than half of that. More like 600 days, if that long. No. Amen. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Have you considered when you spend your money at these mega corporations where it's going? Are you aware that your hard-earned money is being used to support political corruption, which leads to poor federal leadership, hurting our economy, contributing to the overall detriment of our society? This is heavy stuff to think about, I know, but it's time we fought back. Introducing Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club. Here, we are a club that gives you the power to invest in companies that uphold patriotic and conservative values your family can respect. Rather than spending your money with these major corporations, we've partnered with a direct consumer company that offers over 400 high-quality, sustainable, and effective products that can be delivered fast directly to your front door. So many patriots across America has joined us in this walkaway movement. Now it's your turn. Go to www.buybywalmart.com to join Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club today. The volatility of the U.S. dollar is a harsh reality. We've seen the stock market come across ramped losses even over the past 20 years. There's a need for an alternate financial strategy. How about gold or silver? Welcome to God's Money. With the PSI security platform, you can build your wealth and secure your future with precious metals that withstand the test of time. Gold and silver are the secrets the wealthy have used to accumulate and protect their wealth for decades. God's Money works with a team of world-class experts to deliver rare, high-quality, unique precious metals at impressive prices. Don't have the money to invest in silver and gold? No problem. Join our Coin of the Month program. With this amazing program, we will send you a little silver on a monthly basis. Consider this opportunity before it's too late. Act now. Go to www.godsmoney.info.
Okay, we're back. Thank you so much for, I just needed a little water or something. I don't know what happened, but anyway, we're good. Amen. So if he doesn't win the midterms, he has less than that, half that. So Donald Trump is running on supernatural time. And this is a moment for America to be salvaged. And for us to realize when we see Donald Trump moving this quickly, you're beholding a supernatural event. Your president and I can't wait for them to clip this part, is not human right now. He is operating at a total different speed than chronological time. Okay? Now, Donald Trump has no intention of letting a single second of that 1,300 days go to waste. Now, I'm going to predict now that if we do not win the midterms, which I believe we will. They say I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Am I frozen? Everybody's saying I'm frozen. If I'm frozen, I can refresh my screen. Just let me know. Okay, thank you. I'm going to make a prediction that if Donald Trump, if we do not win the midterms, that Donald Trump will resign and bring in J.D. Vance or whomever he chooses. Because there would be no reason for him to continue with a Democratic House. We know what that would bring, okay? Now, so that's probably in the back of his mind that he must finish his job quickly. And that's why he is in this. This is not a man that's ready to cross the finish line. This is a man sprinting through history right now. He is literally, his critics call this chaos, but his allies call it courage, but prophecy calls it inevitable. The man is 80 years old come next June. 80. Most men his age are asking their grandkids to work the remote control for them, but not Trump. 4 to 5 hours of sleep is all he gets. And see, I understand that. If I get more than 5 hours of sleep, I feel like I have failed the Lord. I literally feel like I know exactly what Trump is doing. When that Kairos moment comes in your life, you must ride that wave to the finish line. Donald Trump gets 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night and lives on Diet Coke. While Washington politicians take 3-hour lunches and month-long vacations, Trump is out there weaponizing every sunrise like it's his last chance to save America. Because the Bible says it is. Now, let me give you the receipts to prove this Kairos time. 11 days ago, he's hosting Vladimir Putin in Alaska. 8 days ago, a gaggle of European leaders is in the Oval Office. And yesterday alone, Monday, August 25th, yesterday alone was a symphony of executive orders that had the swamp creatures running for safe spaces. He started the day off with South Korea's president, Lee Jae-myung, begging Trump to come work his magic on the Korean peninsula. And then, after that, He fires Lisa Cook. Listen, after that, he declares there is no more Department of Defense, but we're going to return to the glory days of America and rename it the Department of War, that we're no longer playing defense anymore. We're not the Department of Defense. We're projecting American strength around the globe. No more participation trophy military. This is about winning wars, not managing conflicts. And then, all this was yesterday. Listen, all this was yesterday. I'm talking about Kairos time. And then he did something that sent shockwaves through the very foundations of American jurisprudence. He signed an executive order for flag burners. Now, if you burn an American flag, the chief law enforcement officer of our nation says you will go to federal prison for 1 year. And if you're a non-citizen, you will be deported. Now, people ask me, why would he do that? Because he knows he's going to get sued. That's why he does it. He does it because many years ago, the Supreme Court made a stupid decision in Texas versus Jackson, I believe. And he wants to get that undone like he did Roe v. Wade. He wants to get some sanity. So he does these executive orders knowing they're not going to do anything. But he does it so somebody will sue him because he wants to drag them all up to the Supreme Court. Listen, the American flag is sacred ground. We would not allow you, listen, if we would not allow you to go to Arlington Cemetery and burn up a tombstone, we're not going to allow you to burn the American flag. There's no difference. That flag is the symbol of every dead soul. Them red stripes is the blood of dead soldiers, mothers, sons that died for this nation. That flag, that red, white, and blue banner that has been planted on Normandy Beach, over Iwo Jima, over Ground Zero, that flag has been consecrated by the blood of patriots who gave everything for this nation. And you honestly think patriots are going to let you burn sacred ground? Do you know what would happen to any one of us if we went to an Indian burial ground and just desecrated it? Do you know what would be done? For decades, we've watched as anti-American radicals burns it in our streets while hiding behind that Supreme Court decision in 1989, Texas versus Johnson, not Jackson, Johnson. Do you know who was on the court when they passed Texas versus Johnson? What is Texas versus Johnson? It ruled that burning the American flag was a freedom of expression. Those same liberal judges who allowed Obama's deep state to weaponize our intelligence agencies against American citizens suddenly care about constitutional rights when it comes to desecrating our national symbol. But you see, here's my problem. Here's why Texas versus Johnson must be undone. And Donald Trump started that process on yesterday. That's why he did it. That's exactly why he did it. So somebody would sue him because he plans to not only unravel Obergefell for gay marriage, he plans to unravel Texas versus Johnson in front of a court that has some sanity about it. Now, let me get this right. Burning the United States flag, which represents every American, but more importantly, it represents every American that gave their life for America. Burning that flag is protected speech. But if I burn a rainbow flag, it's a hate crime. Oh, are you sure, Professor Toto? Does anybody remember Adolfo Martinez? Do you know where Adolfo is tonight while you're sitting in your cozy recliner? Adolfo's still in prison for 15 years for burning a pride flag. 16 years in prison for burning a pride flag in Iowa. 30 years or 30 days for harassment. 15 years for a hate crime. I'm sorry. How is his a hate crime? When you're burning the American flag, you are hating the American people. I need somebody to make it make sense for me. We've got to undo Texas versus Johnson, and that's exactly what your president plans to do. That's why he drops these executive orders that he knows are illegal and he knows are not going to be instituted immediately. However, it did get instituted today in one certain place. Let's see if I can find that for you, my fellow Americans. You're going to love this one. Oh, yes, you are. You're going to love this one. Wrong, you caused me harm. You offended me. There you go, buddy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Go serve you 1 year. Go serve you 1 year. And while you're there, please file a lawsuit so that we can get this overturned. Oh, there was no sound on the video. I apologize. That was a war veteran burning the American flag. At least he identified as such. The American flag represents every community in America. So if you are burning the American flag, you're burning the pride flag, pride in America, including LGBTQ Americans. You're burning their flag. If burning a pride flag terrorizes one community, then burning the American flag terrorizes all American communities. But you see, let me tell you why this is going to be overturned when it gets to the Supreme Court. Allow Professor Toto to educate you so that you can understand what's going on. This man in the video, you didn't hear him, but he said he was expressing his First Amendment right of expression. There's a problem with that. There is no freedom of expression in the First Amendment. There is a freedom of words, not of actions. Words, speech is protected, but not actions, not expression. For example, I can go express myself on the streets and strip naked. There's no freedom for expression. So where did that word come from? Texas versus Johnson. It's a judicially made up word. It's not in the law of the land. The law of the land alone is the Constitution, not judicial decrees. The law says you have a freedom of speech only. That's it. Since when did burning flags and buildings and rioting become freedom of speech? Since when did destruction become discourse? Speech is what you say. Expression is what you do. And when you cross the boundary of saying into the realm of doing, you've lost your freedom. Now, Texas versus Johnson disagrees with me. Donald Trump said, all right, let's send it back up to the Supreme Court and let's get another ruling and let's undo this. Because nowhere does the Constitution protect destructive action as if they were protected words. But wait, there's more. Oh, there is a lot more than just the man I told you about earlier. A few days ago, a woman was arrested. I'm looking for her name. You can look the story up yourself. A woman was arrested. I thought I wrote her name in here. Well, I can't find it now, but she was arrested for saying the N-word. Now, yes, that's horrible. No one should say it. But she was arrested and is now in jail for saying the N-word. So much for freedom of speech, right? It's liberal hypocrisy, and it is everywhere. I challenge you to go to your Constitution and find me freedom of expression anywhere. Now, after he signed that executive order, he was not done. No. On Monday of last week, he deployed the National Guard to clean up crime in D.C. A week later, check. 11 murder-free days in our capital. And then he proposed sending a force to Chicago. And in case any of you think that that's not constitutional, you need to go read my Substack article about Chicago. He absolutely has the legal right to go to Chicago, even if it's not a federal city like Washington, D.C. Read that article and you'll have all your facts straight. And then Friday, a few days ago, he decided to put brand new grass in all of D.C. Oh, yeah, this man thinks of everything. He's on Kairos time. He's in a divine moment. Thursday, he secured a 10% government stake in Intel and semiconductors. Wednesday, he changed the name of the Department of Defense. And then, by the way, has anyone noticed the goldification of the Oval Office? Gone, long gone, are those boring beige curtains and the safe little decorations. Oh no, honey, we've got gold from top to bottom, regal furniture, an office that looks like it belongs to the head of state of the world's greatest superpower. Nobody can keep up with this man. I mean, did anybody even notice that he changed the whole, and by the way, paid for it out of his own pocket? And he's getting ready to build a glorious ballroom from the Gilded Age and paying for that out of Trump's own money. Nobody can keep up with this man. He's under a divine mission. The media's running around like their hair's on fire, trying to keep up, trying to cover 17 different stories at one time. But you see, Donald Trump is not just moving the needle. He's throwing the whole sewing machine out the window and starting brand new. Now, let me explain to you why he's doing it. The world sees a strong man. The media sees a dictator. The establishment sees their worst nightmare. But as a pastor and a servant of the Lord, I see something entirely different. I see the hand of Almighty God moving through history. If you'll look back at ancient Israel, there was a king by the name of Jeroboam. Now, ancient Israel is the mirror of end-time Israel, which is the United States of America. If you'll look up King Jeroboam, you'll find several things. He expanded Israel's borders. He brought unprecedented prosperity. He ruled with king-like authority, and he made his nation great again for a season. The Bible tells us at the end time there would be another Jeroboam that would rise up with those same overtures about himself. I want you to know, when you watch the speed of Donald Trump, you're watching a man running with the horses. He's running with the cloud. He's running with the fire. He's not tired. Why? Because there is something guiding him that's not of himself. No man could accomplish what this man has. He literally is the only man in the history of this nation that stood against both political parties and defeated them both. Stood to a bullet and overcame it. Why? Because what we're witnessing here is a master class in leadership. America finally has a leader. Now, no, he's not the kind of leader that modern people like. Harvard Business School would tell all of their students, never lead like that. No, no, no. You want to be a servant leader. You want to sit in the corner and take suggestions from all people. And you want them all to tell you, before you decide to paint the auditorium, what color they think would look well. And you need to call a meeting of all of the people and be a servant leader. Listen to them. But you see, that's not the kind of leader that shakes up empires and reshapes nations. Oh, no. No, no, no. Donald Trump is giving a lesson in real leadership. And lesson number one is speed. Okay? Speed kills the opposition. The only time the enemy can destroy a leader is if he slows down and gives them time to catch up with him. Okay. So while other leaders are forming committees of the itty bitties to study the task force, Donald Trump just says, hey, hand me that executive order. Signed. Solved. Next. Oh, but you didn't get permission. No, I didn't. I'm the leader. Trump just acts. He knows what needs to be done. He's giving lesson number one is speed. When you've been given the mandate to lead, you do not have time to stop and listen to suggestions. You already know what needs to be done, or you would not be the leader. Everyone that's leading is not a leader. No, they want to sit back and let the people lead so that they don't offend the people. I'm glad Donald Trump doesn't take time to sit there and wait to call a meeting, because by the time he calls a meeting, he can sign 10 executive orders and get the job done. Lesson number two, loyalty. Leadership requires loyalty. Lesson number three, never apologize for winning. The establishment wants him to tone it down. Oh, Mr. Trump, don't brag so much like that. Don't talk like that. Be more genteel, more humble. Most of the time when people's telling you to be more humble, it's because they want you on their level. To be as slow as they are, to be as laid back. They're intimidated by your speed. Never apologize for getting the job done. In my own ministry, if I would have sat around and waited for boards and committees, we wouldn't have what we have today. Somebody has to lead, and that requires speed. And Donald Trump is anointed with that Kairos speed. Lesson number 4, he's teaching that energy is infectious. This man's operating on 4 hours of sleep, and he's got more vigor than politicians half his age. I call him the inexhaustible president because he has an inexhaustible source. He has few days left to fulfill his mandate. Yahweh raised him up to do a job, not to be a follower, but to lead from the front, to charge, to take the moment and bring the mandate to pass. But we're living in an age now where men are weak. We've turned strong. We're afraid of strong men. We want people that says, what do you think about that? We've become so millified, so sissified, so afraid of a leader. And Donald Trump is a leader. He does not ask permission. He fulfills his mandate. And if you've got sense in your head, you will follow him because everything he touches is blessed. So what does this mean for America? For you? What does it mean for the world? It means that you and I are living in the most consequential presidency in American history. There will never, ever be another moment like this. Never. Not just because of what Trump is doing, but because of how fast he's doing it. Now, what happens when he's gone? Think about it. 1,303 days maximum. That's all the time left for this biblical whirlwind to reshape not just America, but to get the world ready for what's next. It's no longer just about politics, my friend. This is about prophetic Kairos moment. that you're living in. Trump is not just making America great again. He's setting the stage for events that have been foretold for thousands of years. Yahweh raised this man up. If Hillary Clinton would have beaten Donald Trump, the republic would no longer exist. You know that. Yahweh raised him up to stop that because the republic had to be here to get the world lined up for what happens when Trump, the last Trump, is no more. You need to understand that the moment that we're living in right now is a divine moment. This is not a political moment. This is a prophetic moment. Let me show you how prophetic this moment is. 2 years ago, almost 3 now, there was a prophecy that went forth. When we were at the bottom, when people were dropping Trump left and right, arrested, handcuffed, the truth is he was over. His numbers were plummeting. And right in the midst of that came this word.
And as that eagle begins to wonder, is God through with me? As all the pundits say the eagle's over with, as all the commentators say it's over with, that eagle is hiding and letting God humiliate him in public so he can raise him back in private and restore him. When that eagle, those wings begin to grow, all of a sudden who everybody thought was dead begins to flap those majestic imperial wings and begins to fly to a height he's never flown before. I declare to you that Donald John Trump is God's eagle, and you might think he's hiding, but he's getting ready to ride again. God bless you.
Hey, wow. Oh, I love these guys. Love this.
And how about Pastor Toto slaying dragons for Jesus right now? Slaying dragons. Man, what a lion that guy is.
I don't have pink hair or long hair, but I know the voice of Yahweh. And when he sent me to that Clay Clark event, the only one I went to, I didn't even want to go to that one because if I didn't like the spirits that I felt. I did not like the backstage of what was really going on. I didn't want to be there. I just didn't. I'll never forget walking around on that stage thinking, oh God, why am I here? Why am I here? And he spoke to me and he said, take the microphone and say what I tell you to say. Because the only way my will is done on earth as it is in heaven is through the mouth of a man. And so I went to that microphone when Donald Trump just arrested. It's over. And I looked in that camera and I said, Donald Trump is God's eagle. And he will fly again. I want every one of you to know. Someone said that they was there. S. Lample was there. How wonderful. How wonderful. I'll never forget the anointing of that moment when God used this voice of a broken man, because Donald Trump is not a political president. He is a prophetic president. And you are seeing now what God is doing. What you're witnessing here, brothers and sisters, is a prophetic Kairos moment that you will never see again. America's resurgence It's not just a campaign slogan. It's now a mission from heaven. The economic policies, the foreign policies, the military rebuilding, it's all happening at warp speed. Why? Because it has to, because the timeline is running out, children. Oh, I wish you would watch my sermon on Daniel's statue. When you get to the toes of that statue, you're at the end of time. And we know that those toes are the scattered tribes, America, Great Britain, Commonwealth nations ruling the world. And when their time runs out, everything has to be lined up and in place. The nations of the world have to be aligned for the coming of the Lord. And one man alone is bringing Russia and China together as partners, ancient enemies. One man alone is causing Germany to rise again. This is his moment. This is his moment. Bible prophecy tells us that the end time events will accelerate rapidly. That's called the shortening of the days. It doesn't mean the days are going to be shortened. It means that things are going to speed up so quickly that a 24-hour day will begin to feel like a 3-hour day. In the twinkling of an eye, we're living in that time right now. Donald Trump is not just the 47th and 45th president. He is the leader that will arise in the latter days to restore national greatness before the final curtain is pulled. His stamina is not just impressive for an 80-year-old. It's supernatural for any human being. His policy speed, it's not just efficient government. It's divine acceleration. The Father has pressed the gas pedal on time. His global influence, that's not just skilled diplomacy, it's prophetic positioning. This man is not just making deals with nations, he's fulfilling destinies. For example, many people are upset at him right now because he's inviting 600 or 6,000 Chinese students to our universities. That's a wonderful thing. As long as they vet them, it's a wonderful thing. Our universities need that full tuition money. And that gives us leverage over China for negotiations. So, my fellow Americans, tonight, as I prepare to move away from the mic of magnanimity, the torch of truth, remember this, you're not just witnessing a presidency, you're witnessing a prophecy in motion. And many of you tonight watching me are doing nothing to prepare your hearts for what Donald Trump is precipitating. I wonder if your excitement over Trump would somehow coalesce into what comes after Trump. Because if it did, you would give your heart to the God of heaven. You would commit your life to holiness. You would separate yourself from this world. And you would hear the call, come home to the house of Israel. Come while it's day, because Donald Trump is helping to speed up towards the night. I fear that so many of us that have followed Trump have not realized we were following the Trump. You're living in the most accelerated moment in world history. You're watching the divine hand of Yahweh move across the chessboard of history. Donald Trump, love him or hate him, support him or resist him, but in the inexhaustible president, his energy is not human. His mission is not political. I told someone yesterday, Donald Trump's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He defied both parties. His timeline is not electoral. He's operating on biblical time with prophetic purpose under divine assignment. And the next 1,303 days are going to be the most consequential in human history. Hear the word of the Lord. Buckle up, America. The inexhaustible president is just getting started. It's going to scare some of you how fast this moves. Prepare your hearts to meet your God. Thank you for watching. Maranatha, the King is coming. Good night, America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside